Mike Tyson coming back to boxing as a Hall of Famer against another Hall of Famer, Roy Jones Jr. A lot of people are saying that Roy Jones Jr., because he's the boxer and because Tyson hasn't been back in the ring in a very long time, I know it's an exhibition fight, but you know damn well that these guys are going to go at it, and they're going to go at it trying to knock each other out. These are old-timers. Roy Jones Jr. looks like he ate too many donuts and hot dogs, okay? And Mike Tyson looks very, very good, but we've only seen a minute of him hitting the bag and him hitting the mitts. We really haven't seen him get into the ring for 3 minutes and actually box somebody, which is going to be a problem if this fight goes more than 2 rounds for Mike Tyson, because this is a guy that's in his 50s. He's an old man, can still hit as hard as practically almost anybody in this whole wide world, but that doesn't show when you're fighting a boxer. A lot of people are making this out to be a joke. Mike Tyson's trying to bring Hall of Famers back into the ring, trying to set up a different look to what boxing could be when these guys retire, where they can make some extra money. What are your guys' thoughts to this up-and-coming fight coming up in September?
Hold that thought, guys. Hold that thought. Who do you think's going to win?
You want me to go first?
You go first.
All right. Well, I love Roy Jones Jr. I grew up a Roy Jones Jr. fan. Every time when I started boxing when I was 18 years old, I tried to implement my style of moving and using my jab and dancing in the ring and using my footwork to my advantage. Not trying to use the power, because power can only go so far in a boxing ring, as you guys know. It's all about technique and speed and getting inside and using the body and using everything like that. But Mike Tyson is a guy that has a tremendous amount of power, and you can't take it away. Roy Jones Jr. never fought in the heavyweight division, Anthony. Never did. What are you laughing about? What are you laughing about?
No. You're telling me this like you're saying heavyweight division like this is a seasoned veteran fight.
This is a seasoned veteran fight.
This is the movie Grudge match, just in real life.
Oh, so you don't think that they're going to go at it and they're going to try to knock each other out?
They're 70 years old.
First of all, Roy Jones Jr. is 45 years old, 44 years old. And wait a second, Manny Pacquiao's 41, 42, and he's still boxing. Okay?
And that's just it. He's continuously boxing.
And he's a great fighter. He's a top-of-the-line fighter.
When was the last time Roy Jones Jr. fought?
I don't know, 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
I think there was still a 19 in the beginning of the date.
No, it was 4 years ago. Roy Jones Jr. got into the ring. He didn't win, but he got into the ring. And Roy Jones Jr. is a boxer. And you could say whatever you want about Roy Jones Jr. He could still hit the mitts. Go watch the training that he's been training. And he just looks like he has too many
has he been
jelly
drinking
donuts.
today?
No. Oh, my God. You know what it is? This guy thinks he knows boxing, Kai. Mike
no, I don't know boxing.
This guy thinks he knows boxing.
See, caged in MMA. Who the hell cares? This is a joke.
This is what it is. This is a spectacle. That's literally what it is. This is a
come on,
spectacle.
guys.
It's
Get
just
out of
something
here.
mostly for the crowd to see. And it really doesn't, I don't think it does anything great for boxing. I think a lot of people are going to watch it because they're just curious.
So it's great for boxing, Kai. That's great for boxing, Kai.
Mayweather. People want to watch it.
Kai, that's great for boxing. If you're watching it,
who's going to win?
it's great for boxing. Am I right or wrong? If it's going to be,
Conor McGregor was great for boxing.
Oh well, hold on one second. Hold on one second. You're going to bring Conor McGregor into this boxing match? Conor McGregor has nothing to do with this boxing match.
I think a spectacle is a spectacle.
A spectacle you're telling me that these guys are going to go out and try to knock each other out?
You put him against any bum on the street, people are going to watch it to see how Mike Tyson.
Oh, get out of here. Nobody's going to watch that crap because you know what Mike Tyson's going to do to the bum. He's going to knock him out. You're putting Roy Jones Jr., one of the most technical fighters of all time, in the ring with one of the most powerful boxers of all time. And both of them have said, you could say it's a spectacle or whatever you want to call it, it's a circus. These guys are going to go out and they're going to put on a show. You can say whatever you want. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be...
Father Time is undefeated.
No. You don't tell that to Randy Couture. Don't say that to Randy Couture.
Randy Couture knew to retire.
Oh, really? He won a heavyweight championship when he was in his 40s.
And he was able to do it. What happened after he got crane kicked?
It doesn't matter. He still won the title when he was 40 years old. So Father Time means that he can't box anymore?
Mike.
Come on, man.
Mike, I'm sorry. I was trying to get you in before you got to the bottom of your latte there.
It's bullshit. That's what I'm going to say.
Mike, would you like to weigh in on here?
On the Tyson fight?
I can't say without laughing.
Sorry. So, I mean, I don't see on it. I know they're going to fight. yeah, they're two old guys. We get it. They're out of their prime. It's exhibition, yada, yada, yada. But they're two guys that want to fight. So who gives a shit who's saying it's a circus act or anything like that? If these two guys want to fight, let them fight. They're grown-ass men. You know what? They've had their time in boxing. They put their name out there. But as far as who's going to win, I think they're both going to go out there and they're going to throw down. And I don't see Roy Jones Jr. hurting Mike Tyson. I'm sorry.
I agree with you. I think Tyson will win the fight. I think it'll be a third round, early second round knockout by Mike Tyson. I think he's going to hurt him. You guys, I don't know what you guys are watching, but go watch Instagram. Go watch what Mike Tyson is doing right now. This guy is hitting speed bags. I'm not saying this is.
Well, I don't think anybody said that Tyson's not going to win.
A lot of people don't think he's going to win because they think a boxer is going to beat out a brawler, and that's what they think Mike Tyson's going to do in this match. He's going to brawl Roy Jones Jr. And if that happens, Tyson needs to understand you can wear yourself out, especially being at age, Mr. Old Timer. He's going to have to control his stamina and his breathing technique, as you all know, because your coach is, right, Chris?
So which fight am I talking about?
We're talking about the Tyson fight.
You guys.
We're talking about the Tyson fight. Don't worry, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get to your gyms, okay? Because all of you guys, you have your own gyms.
Should we?
I'm gonna get you guys. I'm gonna get you guys.
Well, I think I believe it's going to be the old-fashioned Tyson wins if it goes between the first 3 to 4 rounds, and then Jones wins if it goes beyond that because Tyson's going to gas out. That's been Mike Tyson's MO for most of his career.
Go ahead, Chris.
To be honest with you, the same thing that Mike said. You know, put away all the stuff of like the spectacle that this is. These two guys want to fight. They think they still have a little bit left, but you know what? When was it? Just not too long ago that two guys got back into a cage that they thought could fight, and it was a shit show.
Who was that?
I think that was Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell again.
Yep.
Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz.
That was the
They're
dumbest
different.
fight ever.
That's
So
different. This is different.
Whatever.
It's different, Chris.
You mean that was worse than Tito versus Alberto Del Rio?
No.
Worse than that?
Certain matchups, Gaethje Khabib, it's going to be a collision course. Gaethje's takedown defense versus Khabib trying to get him up against the fence.
Mm-hmm.
Two pressure fighters, and that's the thing. If Khabib gets him against the fence, it's going to be a long night. If Khabib cannot pressure Justin enough to back him up, he's going to have a lot of problems.
And as you know, it's all about matchups. That's the way fighting is. Matchups are key, and
Absolutely.
And I agree with that. And that's why you saw Ferguson. I just didn't think it was enough time for Ferguson to fight that fight.
You want to be the champ, you better learn how to adapt.
Well, that's not quite true.
It's not
because
called a conditional champ.
Tell me a champion that's done that 2 weeks before to fight a guy that was completely off. I'm talking about a good fighter, a top-ranked fighter. Go ahead, give me the numbers. Let me see.
Wait, you're talking about a last minute switcheroo?
All right, so let's.
Randy Couture beat Chuck Liddell in a
All
last
right,
minute switcheroo.
So we got all the UFC last 5 bouts. You guys ready? You ready, Kai? You ready, Chris?
I'm listening.
All right.
Kai is dying with anticipation.
All right. UFC 247 made $1.491 million.
That sucks.
UFC 248 made $1.195 million. UFC 250 made $775,000. UFC 249 made $700,000. UFC 251 made $1.31 million.
Those numbers suck.
Okay. So, Speedy, give me Conor McGregor's number of his fight. What is it? Do you have Conor McGregor's last fight?
249.
Was it 249?
That's probably the biggest number on there.
700,000?
249?
700,000.
I'm asking. Is it 249?
If it's 249, it's 700. When was Conor's last fight? Speedy?
Come on, Speedy.
I want to get it right here. Because the numbers mean a lot to me because you guys were talking about numbers. It's all about fannies in the seats, right? That's what you guys are saying? So let's get the numbers of what Conor McGregor. And by the way, there was a crowd for Conor's fights, so that benefits Conor too. So there was a crowd for his last fight. It was a pay-per-view. No, this is the pay-per-view. This is pay-per-view buys right here. So I just want to get the numbers. What is it, Speedy? $3 million. So $3 million. So Conor's last fight made, and that was $3 million. That's what that mean. So how much more money with Conor McGregor on the card is he really making on that? Look about it. It's $3 million, 251 1.3. UFC 249 700, UFC 250 775, UFC 248 1.195, UFC 247 1.491.
So basically, you're saying in the worst case scenario, based off of those numbers, $3 million opposed to those. So basically, Conor is worth about another 45%.
I don't know about 45%, but it's. You know, to me, it's not a lot of money. You're making it seem like Mike Tyson made. I mean, Floyd Mayweather
Boxing
made.
Is different.
That's
Boxing
fine.
Is different.
That's fine.
You know, the pay scales for MMA has always been.
It's all about
shitty
pay-per-view. Go look at the
boxing.
pay-per-views. Go look at the pay-per-views.
No, you're talking about two totally different animals.
All right, so I'm just.
You know, from a socially accepted standpoint in regards to endorsements.
But this has nothing to do with endorsements. This has nothing to do with endorsements.
Money comes in.
Well, this is all about buying.
It's
buying the pay-per-view.
Production. It comes from being able to give the purse in terms of what they make. Has a lot to do with the endorsements.
Well, that has a lot to do with promoting. That has a lot to do about fannies and seats.
That's
what's
saying
promoting.
It's two different things. If you want to go with an MMA thing versus an MMA thing.
I'm talking about what the UFC can make off that deal, especially with their zone. You're talking about people in the seats for Conor McGregor's last fight, and you only made $3 million off that pay-per-view, and then you go with no seats, nobody out in the audience.
1.9.
1.9. I mean, it's not a huge pay grade. It's not. What is it? $1 million more?
$1.2 million, $1.1 million. That's a lot of money.
It really isn't. It really isn't for a multi-billion-dollar organization.
But they're not looking as.
I'm just saying, man.
And I'm just saying.
I'm putting numbers together.
And I'm doing math.
We're bringing numbers, Chris.
And I'm
Nelson,
doing math.
These are numbers. And I'm saying, is $1 million that much more that you're making off of 1.9?
Let me ask you this. If this is your business and you made $1 million more,
okay,
you're telling me you're not going to blink over that?
Obviously, he'll blink over it. But
who's
how much? Dana White. He'll blink over that, but it's not a lot of money. So you're gonna put him as the number 2 contender because he's making you $1 million more.
At this time, when we're talking about COVID,
because you know those UFC seats, no matter who's fighting, is packed. Those seats are packed. Mm-hmm. They're going to sell out no matter what. So if you look at the pay-per-view numbers, even with Conor on it, they're not that good. So,
well, if you want to think business-wise, you got to think overhead and everything.
Yeah.
And if I have an extra $1 million, that means I have an extra profitability.
Mm-hmm.
So $1 million can make a huge difference because if I have $1 million now, I done paid my staff, I done paid my.
That's why you have sponsors.
I done paid the pay-per-views, I done paid the hosting, I done paid all that stuff. Now, if it costs me $800,000 to do all of that, and I made $200,000 profit, you add an extra $1 million into it. Now I made $1,200,000, which is a significant difference.
Absolutely. But that's why you have sponsors, man. That's why you have all these sponsors that the UFC will not let you get sponsors for.
So that's an extra. Okay? So if that's the case, and if everything's paid for, he's got an extra $1 million he just puts right into his pocket.
Well, again, if you're looking at the sponsors that they're getting, Reebok or whatever they have, the deal, $500, $600 million. Now they're not with Reebok anymore. Who are they with?
Thankfully, that's up.
Who are they with now?
Venom now.
Venom. So
Venom
now
in 2021 is going to be Venom, which I think is. Well, I said this before.
Yeah, you
to
did
think
say
that
this.
Venom.
You did say this.
And I mean, we all remember Venom from back in the day when it wasn't even that everybody's going for the bad boy shorts and the sprawl shorts and everything, and Venom was pretty much perceived as just a kickboxing apparel company with the tie shorts, the elbow pads and stuff, and that they still use now. So when it comes to that, when you're Venom and you were able to outbid Reebok to gain the UFC's attention and to have an exclusivity right, I want to know if Dwayne Johnson bought Venom and we just don't know about it yet, like the XFL, because that's a hell of a lot of money to outbid Reebok.
He bought it the XFL
but you know what I'm going with this. To say Venom was able to outbid Reebok, that's a huge story that a lot of people don't really.
That's not good for Reebok.
That's big. Yeah. That's really big.
That's not good for Reebok.
Especially because.
Did they outbid them, or did they just not really want to go in that direction?
They bid.
I don't think Reebok made such profitability being the host and a sponsor of the UFC.